Hey guys, it's Nikki from the Monogram Shop. I'm making a little impromptu video for you guys tonight in the Baby Lock Destiny Owners Group. But I want to start off with saying thank you for so many of you coming out to our shows and seeing us out in California, Colorado, let's see, where else? South Carolina and down in Florida. It was really sweet. I want you guys to know that I have a really soft heart, and a lot of you made me cry by coming and see me. It really touched me that you took time out of your schedule to come and take my class, and I just wanted you to know I really appreciate it. Tonight's video is kind of an impromptu, kind of crazy thing. We've had several requests for different kind of things, and we have new video equipment and editing equipment. So first thing I want to say is, we're not good at video editing. We've determined that someone else has to do it. So we're just going to run it just like we normally have, but we're hopeful that it'll work. The first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to make sure that I move really slow when I go to the computer monitor, because Alan will need to zoom in on that area. And the first thing that I'm going to cover tonight, let me tell you everything that we're going to cover. Tonight we're going to cover how to assign thread colors in your software so that they'll show up in your machine. Then we're also going to talk to you about how to use your software with your AccuQuilt or your ScanningCut or your Silhouette. Okay, we're not going to demonstrate the machines. You can watch videos on that. We're going to show you how to get the files ready for them, the embroidery files. And the third thing we're going to talk about is the Derwent Inktense watercolor pencils, because somebody asked me to show that. Okay, so we're going to start at the computer. The software that I'm going to start with is the Floriani Total Control U. It's a software that I love. But I'm also going to show you how to do this in the Designer's Gallery software. So everybody seems to have a thread preference. Those of you that know me know that mine is Mettler and Isocord. It's the same thread. When it's on the cone, it's Isocord. When it's on the smaller spools, it's Mettler. It's my favorite thread. I love it. Over 400 colors. It's poly sheen. It's strong. It's shiny. So I'm going to show you how to set up the software so that your machine will read those colors. Okay? So we're going to go to the screen, and I'm going to try to stay in the upper left-hand portion of the screen. So I will move the window prompts up to that area, and I'm going to go really slow. So we're going to the monitor. Okay? We good? We right there? Okay, so you're going to open your software, and you're going to go to the tools. And this is before you open a design, and you're going to open the toolbar, and if you'll look way down at the bottom, it says preferences. Can you kind of see where it says preferences? I have it highlighted. You're going to click on preferences, and I'm going to move the preferences window up to the left-hand screen so you guys can see it. And I'm going to wait till Alan tells me that you guys can see it. Okay, first thing that you'll want to do is you'll want to make sure that you choose your thread type. This little arrow right here is a fly-out arrow. If you'll click on it, it has many selections. And I'm going to need to put on my glasses so I can see, because I'm a little bit far back. Alright, I have Isocord polyester. That's my favorite thread. And then you need to make sure, do you see where this says color match on loading? Make sure that that is clicked. If that's not clicked, this won't work. Then you're just going to scroll down over to the word OK, and you're going to click on it, and the window will close. Now, what that has done, when I open a design, and I'm just going to go ahead and go over here and open a design, and it's going to take a second for it to load. This is one of those Cara Creation wreaths that you guys asked about, and it has a lot of different thread changes. It's very realistic. And you'll notice in the lower right hand part of the screen, I'm going to bring the cursor over there so Alan can see that, you'll see that now it gives the Isocord numbers. Do you guys kind of see that? It's got the Isocord numbers. Okay. What the software has done is it's assigned the Isocord numbers. So that's how that's done in Floriani. Very simple. Then you would save your design. Now I'm going to go ahead and just open up Designer's Gallery software. I have the tab open down here. Okay? Now, this one, same kind of situation. I'm going to open a design, and Alan can just stay on the main screen if he wants. I'm just going to kind of open a design. It doesn't really matter what design. I'm going to open it from the stick though. Let's see, I think I've got something on the stick. It doesn't really matter what design. I didn't have one prepped in here. Let's see. Oh, I took my design out. Okay, well, I'll just open this one. It doesn't really matter what design. I'm going to open one. With the design on the screen, the coloring is a little different inside the Baby Lock Designer's Gallery software. The color tab is on the right-hand side of the screen. And I'm going to bring my cursor over, or bring my stylus so Alan can see. You can see the color bar. These are the different colors right here of this design. Now, for this particular one, you will actually click on each color. It won't do it as a group. But when I click on this color, you'll see a window pop up. And I'm going to wait for Alan to zoom in on that area. You can kind of see the palette. This is the thread palette that it's automatically on. I think it came up on Brother. Can you guys see that? And there's a little fly out arrow right there. And I can actually assign colors here. And I think we have, let's see, Floriani, Coates and Clark. Here's Isocord Poly. Again, that's my preferred. And of course, then I can search for my number by typing it in here. Or of course, I can scroll down as well. Now, there probably are people who are better with this software than myself that have a little better system. But you can actually change the numbers. Now, if you'll go to look at the right-hand side, you'll see that it's assigned it. I think it says Isocord Poly and it has the number. Now, why did we do that? Let's talk about this. Some designs, it doesn't really matter because it's only got a few colors, or maybe you're going to assign the color. But some of those designs from Kara Creations or Anita Good Designs, they have 30, 40 thread changes, and you maybe want to stay within one thread palette, myself included. I prefer Isocord threads. It's easier for me if it's automatically assigned. So you would save your design to your thumb drive or send it over wirelessly with your AirStitch, however you want to do that, to your machine. But I'm going to show you what you need to turn on your machine as well, because you need to do this in the software and then at the machine. Okay? So we're going to go to the machine screen, and we're going to give Alan a chance to kind of zoom in there. So I'm just going to turn on the main screen. We're at the home screen. Okay? And we're going to go to the settings menu. And the settings menu, you guys know, is right up here. It looks like a piece of paper. Are we there? Can they see it? And the page that you're looking for is page 7. Okay? So you will want to turn on the, right down here below the hoop setting, it says ABC 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to kind of scroll through over here so you guys can see what's going on. This is the name of the color. This is the number of the color. Okay? I turned on the number of the color, and then down here you'll maybe notice that you just have a few options. You have embroidery, you have country, you have Madeira Poly, you have Madeira Rayon, you have Sulky again. I left it on Madeira Rayon, and I found that it didn't make a lick of difference, and I'm going to show you guys what I mean. I'm going to go ahead and close the window, and I'm going to go ahead and open the design that I saved, which is that wreath. So I'm going to go to embroidery. I went ahead and saved it on a thumb drive for you guys. Trident. It's going to take a second. I've got a good bit on here. And I have no idea why the Honda logo's on there. Don't know sometimes. Yeah, I don't never know what's on these sticks. Okay, so there's the wreath, and I want to go ahead and you can kind of look right here just on the main overview. It gives me the Isocord numbers. And then when I touch set, and I touch embroidery, well, I don't even have to touch embroidery. You guys can see if you'll look at the color palette. It tells me every single Isocord number that I would want as I scroll down through the design. Okay? Now, I want to make sure you understand this. I don't know why Isocord isn't listed in the color thread guide, and I don't know why when you put it on number in Madeira and you save it in the software that it works, but it just does. I have no idea. I don't really need to know the answer for it. I just know it works. Try that, but you do need to make sure that when you set it up in the Floriani that you need to check that little box that says assign. You need to assign it when opening. And you need to set that up before you open your design. Okay? Makes sense? Hopefully that makes sense. Alright, the next thing we're going to talk about, this is kind of fun. I'm super excited. We can only film this little area because this is actually my studio and it's a mess, but some of you know that I was down at Keep Me in Stitches in Florida. Super exciting time. Alan got to go with me. We got to see Melissa Helms, who's the owner, and Joy and Marcia and Penny. They've got a great staff there. They have 3 shops. And while I was there, Joy was so sweet. She showed me an AccuQuilt Go. I keep calling it the wrong name, but it actually cuts quilt pieces 6 at a time. You can cut web bond with it. You can cut batting. You can cut all different kind of shapes, and it's super cool. And I kind of knew a little bit about them, but not a whole lot. But one thing that I found out while I was there was that I didn't have to cut pieces one at a time. Up until now I've used a Brother Scan and Cut or a silhouette, and you usually have to cut one piece, and you also have to put a fusible on there to get it to cut. This will cut a bunch of shapes at one time. But even better than that, inside the Designer's Gallery, Embroidery Works Every Day, there's Embroidery Works Every Day, you don't even need the advanced. You can download the shapes from the Designer's Gallery website for all of the AccuQuilt shapes, all the holiday shapes, anything like that, the trees, the pumpkins. Here's some pumpkins that I cut out. So you can go to the AccuQuilt website to see how to cut the fabric. You guys don't need me for that. But I'm going to show you how to create the embroidery file inside the Designer's Gallery software. So I'm going to go ahead and go over here to the computer. And while Alan's kind of zooming in, I'm going to get a new blank page, okay? So, and I might have to get my glasses on to do this. You guys will have to forgive me. I have really poor vision. Okay, so this is the Designer's Gallery homepage, and we're going to be working up here on the toolbar. Up here is where I want you to look. What you're going to look for is this little gear. It's right next to the letter A. Do you guys kind of see that? I'm going to go and click on that, and a window will pop up, and I'm going to give Alan a chance to kind of get there. And I want you guys to always focus on these little fly-out arrows. Do you see these little tiny black arrows? They always mean that more is inside. So, and if you'll click on it, you kind of get to where I need to be. You'll see all these different AccuQuilt. You've got AccuQuilt Geometric, AccuQuilt Border, Applique, Rag. I think there's been an update since I've used this particular laptop. This one travels with me sometimes, so I don't think it necessarily has all the updates. But I'm going to go to Holiday, and it gives you all of these different little holiday ones. Can you guys kind of see these? It's got the reindeer. I'm super excited because I bought a bunch of different of these die casts while I was down there. I'm so excited. I've been cutting everything. You guys have no idea. It's crazy around here. But I'm going to go ahead and click on the pumpkin. And you can click on it once and touch OK, or you can just double click and it'll open. And Alan doesn't need to follow my cursor, but I'm going to kind of zoom in so you guys can really see. So you can see that it starts out with this kind of blanket stitch situation. Some people really like this. I've never really had a preference for it, but I'm going to show you that you can change it. This is already the size that it needs to be, but we're going to go over to the upper right hand side of the screen where the properties box is located. So we're going to travel over here with the camera, and this is where you can change things, and you'll see that it shows the color and the applique. See where it says applique? You guys kind of see that? You click on applique, and a little window pops up. And this thing's super cool. The first thing that pops up is you'll see that it says, I think it says border. I can't really see that. Again, don't have my glasses on. It says E-stitch. But again, the little black arrow is going to show you some stuff. If you'll click on it, do you guys see it says blanket stitch, satin stitch, zigzag, and I think it says none. I don't know why you wouldn't want any, but I'm going to go with satin, because that's the preference that I have. So I'm going to click on satin, and then right next to that it shows you the stitch length, and then it also shows you the stitch width. The stitch width comes in at a standard 3.0, but if you'll click on this little arrow, it's actually, you hold down your left mouse, there's a slider bar. Can you guys kind of see that width changing? I like it about 3.5 is about what I like it. I like it a little wider. I don't want to go crazy, but when you let go, the stitch width will increase, okay? And then down here it says color style, user defined. I don't really mess around with any of that kind of stuff. Haven't had any time to play with it. But basically, all the shapes are available, and you'll notice now that the pumpkin has this great looking satin stitch. Do you guys kind of see this? Really cool. So we're going to show you how to, you would save this file, and I'm going to go to the file box, which is in the upper left hand side of the screen. I've already saved it to my stick, but I want you to see what you would do. So I'm going to bring my cursor over here to file, and you would click on file, and then you're just going to go to save stitch file as. You're just going to save it to your stick in the format that your machine reads, okay? It's that simple. Now, that's basically it. You can also cut with your scan and cut and your silhouette, and I'll show you guys that in a minute, but I first want you to see this because this is how easy this is. I'm going to touch the home button on the machine, and I'm going to give Alan a chance. I think he's right there on the screen. We right there? Okay. So we're going to go to embroidery, and I'm going to go to the thumb drive. Sorry. And there's the pumpkin that I created. And it's really kind of neat because the software is very smart. It knows that you don't need a tack down. So you'll notice when I open it on the screen, it just has a placement line and a satin stitch. So I went ahead and pre-stitched this for you guys so you guys could kind of see this. I went ahead and let it stitch the first part, which was the pumpkin shape. Do I have that at a good enough angle? Can they see that? So once it stitches the placement line, you don't actually have to trim around this. This is how neat this is. You've got a couple of options. If you cut your pumpkin without any stabilizer, so if you don't use any fusible, you're just going to have this actual pumpkin, and you would, of course, stick it down. I would encourage you to use maybe some temporary spray adhesive, something like that. You also have the option to cut your pumpkin with Steam-A-Seam. I've used Steam-A-Seam here. Watch me not be able to get the paper off. Okay, so I like Steam-A-Seam. I like to fuse it down because it's sticky. This is Steam-A-Seam 2, so it's this kind of sticky feeling to it. So you're just gonna, you don't have to actually take your hoop off. I took the hoop off so you guys could kind of see. Do you guys see how it fits perfectly? You don't have to trim around. Isn't that kind of neat? Then you're just gonna place your hoop right back on the machine. You're gonna drop your foot. And I have to actually skip ahead, so I'm going to actually go all the way through the embroidery screen because I went ahead and pre-stitched the run stitch for you guys. So I'm actually going to skip ahead one whole stitch because I don't need to stitch the placement line. I just need to stitch the satin stitch, okay? And once you drop the foot, the machine is automatically going to stitch the satin stitch. It knows exactly where the design is, okay? It's actually a really, really neat feature. I really love it a lot. I'm not going to have it completely stitched down. I'll let it stitch a little bit so you guys can kind of see it. But it really is a neat feature. If you haven't looked at the AccuQuilt Go, it's electric. I did know that they had a hand crank one at one time, but I really prefer the electric one. I have arthritis, so it's kind of nice. I'm letting it kind of catch and stitch just a tiny bit. I don't know if you guys can hear me over the top of it, but I do want to let it stitch a little bit. Then I'm going to show you guys how to do it with the scan and cut or the silhouette. I know some of you have silhouettes, some of you have scan and cut. It works with both. The Designer's Gallery Embroidery Works Every Day works with both. Okay, it's close enough, and I'm going to hit cut. I just wanted to give you guys an idea. This is not quite the satin stitch yet. This was just the initial zigzag, but I kind of want you guys to see that it does catch, and I'm going to focus right there. You guys kind of see that, how it just caught? See how easy that is? It's like the perfect applique. So it'll come back around, it'll do one zigzag, and then it'll do a complete satin. It's really cool. I'm very excited about it. Okay? Is that good? Can you see that? Alright. So I'm going to set that aside. So that's if you have an AccuQuilt Go. If you don't have an AccuQuilt Go, you just chew out your husband and you go get one. Just kidding. That's what happened in our car. Just kidding. Alan said, you don't need that. You already have a cutter. He's getting embarrassed because he's behind the camera. He told me that I shouldn't get one because I already had a silhouette and another cutter. But I was just like, I'm getting one, so I got one. But let me show you how to do it if you don't have an AccuQuilt Go, because I know some people don't have that, okay? So if you don't have an AccuQuilt Go, you actually can click on the applique design. And let me look here, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Let me go ahead and delete this. I want to start from the get-go here. I'm going to get your applique design. We'll get this one. And there's actually, under the applique tab here, when you double click, let me find it. I'm sorry, I don't have my glasses on. There it is. You can actually use, I have to look, you guys, because I quit using it this other way, so I got to find out where it is. There we go. Not a pre-cut, please. Let's see, not a pre-cut. Now let me try this. I can't find it. Alright, applique position, there it is. Okay, so what you'll want to do is when you're on the applique, you'll want to shut off the pre-cut piece, and when you go to the applique tab, when you actually click on this item under color, and you click on the applique piece or position piece, when you click on this, this other window opens. So if you're using a silhouette or you're using a scan and cut, you'll use this window, okay? And you'll go to applique, see your little tab right there. And this window is kind of interesting, and I have done it this way. You'll need to cut your layers single, but you see where it says applique position? Your fabric is actually an applique position, and if you look down toward cutting, do you see where it says cutting? It says to inflate, and it starts out at 0.0. It has been my experience, when you pre-cut these applique pieces, you need to click on this little bar, you need to slide it up to about 1.5. 1.5. 1.7, that's fine. Did you guys kind of see that? Is that zoomed in good? Now when you touch save, you'll notice, and I'm going to really scoop this window up so Alan can kind of zoom in down at the bottom of it. When you hit save, you're going to name your file, you'll save it to your stick. But do you see this little tiny arrow right there? When you click on that arrow, you get some options there that are kind of neat. And you're going to need to pay attention to the options. If you need an SVG, that's the first option. Then you've got these plotter files. This is for a commercial plotting machine. If you have one of those, you know what's going on. I don't need to explain it to you. You have FCM, which is what the scan and cut reads. And then you have a studio file. You would save it for a studio file to use for your silhouette. Okay? There's lots of videos out there about how to use those kind of things. There are a lot of videos about how to use a scan and cut, how to use your silhouette, how to cut fabric. But that's how you save that file. You know, save the satin stitch, blanket stitch. You can still use all those features, and you can actually use that with any applique file from any source. Okay? So that's basically, I think we've completely covered computer for tonight. I feel like I've covered computer. Is that what we said we were going to do? I feel like we did. It's possible I lost my mind and I went into a little too fast. I also want to direct you, if you don't have, some of you are not baby lock owners and some of you are baby lock owners. If you're a baby lock owner, you may have the Love a Sewing series. And there are a lot of videos about the Designer's Gallery and the Embroidery Works software and how to use these features, and they'll help you out. Your dealer may also host a baby lock ambassador. Make sure you go to those shows because you can find out what's going on and how to use the equipment that you have. And then of course we always try to make videos for you guys too. The next thing is a special request. Someone asked me how to use the Inktense Derwent pencils, and I realized that I never made a video for you guys, and I felt kind of bad about that. So I'm going to close this laptop and get it out of the way. Pardon me for going off shot, but that's what it is. Alright, so let me move my pumpkins. I'm super excited about the pumpkins. Now, you guys know that we can use our Baby Lock Destiny and we can scan coloring book pages. Super cool. We can scan these coloring book pages and we can stitch them out. Those of you who have been in my class, you've got to do this. You've had a lot of fun. Some of you haven't got to come to the class, so you don't know what we're talking about. So, this is what Alan got me for my birthday or for my anniversary. I don't know, just something for fun. I'm trying to get him to talk on camera. You guys know he's shy. These are Derwent. They're made by Derwent. They're English pencils. They're called Inktense. What these are watercolor pencils. So I don't want you guys to think that these are your traditional just map pencils like we grew up with map pencils. That's not what these are. So don't get mixed up. And I'm just going to tell you right now, go big and get the big box because it has like millions of colors. They make metallic ones, they make skin tone ones. They're super cool. But I'm going to show you guys actually how to use them. So get yourself a big bin. I don't know if your shop sells them. I think Alan had to order those for me online. If you have an art store supply. Now, it would stand to reason that the sample that I'm going to display had a bleed on it. It can be washed out, but it has a bleed. But the first thing I want to talk about is what you need is your textile medium, okay? This is Liquitex. I send Alan to the store for it all the time, and he goes to, where do you go? Michael's, Hobby Lobby. I'm not going to say Joann's because I don't shop in there because the line's too long. But you need to find some of this. This is a fabric medium. I think you guys can kind of see that. And this is the E version. If you live way out in the country, some of you do, my parents do, I grew up out in the country, and you cannot find this, you can actually use this. Yes. For all you fair-haired ladies with your aloe vera gel, just like me, I sunburn, you can get clear aloe vera gel, and you can use this to set your ink as well. So either one, they sell this at, look, CVS. They handily have their sticker on there. So if this comes from CVS, I love it. I like both, either one that you can find, okay? So that's what I'm going to be using out of this little jar. I don't want you to think there's something special in this jar. What is in the little jar is the Liquitex. But I use aloe vera gel as well, okay? Then you need to find a flat surface to work on. I like to iron freezer paper to the back of my fabric so I can protect my table. And I like to have a crisp surface to work on. If you want to get a few paintbrushes, you guys are my crafting buddies, so I'm betting you have some paintbrushes. I went and got these from the art store and I really like them. You want to get some in some different sizes, and you want a stiff brush. So you don't want those little baby fine ones. You want it to be kind of crisp, okay? So you're going to wet the fabric first with the Liquitex. So Alan's going to really zoom in. I'm going to get it at a good angle. He's going to tell me if I'm at a good angle. Am I at a good angle? Okay. And I'm going to try to not have my hand in the way. Is my hand in the way? No? Okay. It's difficult to do this. I normally don't do this on camera, but I kind of want you guys to see. And there are a lot of videos about using Inktense pencils and shading. I would definitely try to look at something a professional taught. I am not a professional. I'm just using this. This is a stitched file from a coloring book page. I scan it in from the IQ Designer. I set my stitch length at about 1.9 and I let it stitch out. And I'm really really wetting this fiber, this fabric. And this is just a straight 100% cotton. I have found that this works better with cotton. So I've got the area wet. And then I'm going to get 2 shades of green. So I've got like a teal and like a lime green. That's how I'm getting that shading. And you just need to think about nature. The darker colors maybe more to the inside. And you'll feel it be really soft. If you're having to fight your pencil, it means you didn't wet your fabric enough. It should just glide right on there. I don't know if you guys can kind of see that. It's kind of gliding. And then get your other color pencil as well. And you're just kind of coloring in a little bit. You should not have to color very hard. The color should just kind of come up. Do you guys see how this is yellow and blue? Maybe add a little more up there, maybe a little bit. Once you've got it, then you're going to get that paintbrush again, and you're really going to start spreading the color. Just going to give you that real shaded look. You guys kind of see that? And I would work with small areas to start with. I would not go crazy and wet the whole thing. If you think that you went too dark and you want to get a little lighter, just add some more light. See how easy that is? Just continue to fill in all over the piece and then let it dry. Now, once this completely dries, I would get a scrap piece of fabric and heat it with an iron to heat set it, and then it is color fast. They are watercolor paints. So, having said that, if you do have some spillover, you're going to need some paint remover to get that off. And there are watercolor paint removers that you can use. This one's just a practice piece. So we covered how to use your digital cutters and your AccuQuilt Go. We told you how to set up your file so it'll read your Isacord threads or your other brand of threads. But I'd be remiss in not mentioning this. Someone asked about the wreath that I stitched, and I think I'm going to ask Alan to hand it to me. I think it's in that pile behind you, babe. Can you hand that to me, the wreath? Okay. So we all fell in love. I know every one of us was talking about carrot. Let me put the lid on this really quick. I feel like I'm going to spill this on my laptop. Okay, so we've all been super excited about the Kara creations in the Baby Lock Destiny groups. We keep inspiring each other to buy the trees and to buy the wreaths and to buy the stuff. And I want to let you guys know something. This is a very good quality digitizer. I can't say enough. She's a really great digitizer. But somebody asked about the depth on this, the amount of colors. I want to explain to you really quickly why we were able to get the depth. I like to use Isacord Mettler thread. They have a wide color range. So the fact that you're seeing a lot of these greens and it really looks realistic is because of the fact, and I'm hoping Alan can get this in the shot, but if he can't, well, I'll just hope. Am I out of the shot so they can see that? Do you guys see the amount of greens, or even the blues, or even the pinks, or even the reds? If you can see how many different colors there are in the Mettler range, that's what is allowing us to give that color. That's why this wreath looks so nice. She is a good digitizer, not to take away from her. She's a wonderful digitizer. But if you feel like your embroidery is kind of flat, you might want to look at a brand that has that shine. It's a trilobal polyester. It's very good quality. It's very strong, so it can stand up to this intense stitching. I think this thing had 70,000 stitches. Very heavy stitching. It's on quilted fabric. I would encourage you to do that. But for those of you that asked, this is Mettler thread, also Isacord, same number system. The Isacord's on the cone. I love it. That's how we got those results. So hopefully you feel better about your Inktense Derwent pencils, your coloring on your Baby Lock Destiny, a little bit about your software, but most importantly, I hope that you're in your sewing room. It's almost the holidays. I'm super excited. This is my favorite time of year, Thanksgiving and Christmas. Alan and I love it. Our kids come home from all regions of the U.S. We still have one at home, but he's often at college, so we get super excited. We do a lot of embroidering. I will be out of town. I think I leave tomorrow or the next day to Lomita, California, and then I'm heading to Thornton, Colorado. And then I'm heading to Needle in a Haystack in New York, which is a quilt retreat. We're doing an embroidery retreat up there, and I'm super excited about that. But mostly what I'm excited about is the fact that you guys are emailing me and writing me and letting me know that you like the videos. That I really like that. I enjoy making them for you. I know someone asked if we would put the videos on YouTube. I think that you guys think we're more talented than we are. We don't know what we're doing. We're just two old people trying to help you guys out. So I love you guys a bunch. Thanks for all the emails, the texts, the letters, and until next time, have a great night. Thanks.